caused him to massacre 20 first graders and 6 adults at the Sandy Hook Elementary School, a school that he once attended. But the 20-year-old reportedly butchered his computer's hard drives with a hammer or a screwdriver. Now, I don't know how they can't tell the difference, but maybe he just scratched it up instead of smashed it. But still, FBI's computer analysts and response team have been working around the clock on the case and could make progress despite the damage. Now, the FBI is pretty good. We can pull stuff off of just about anything, O'Toole said. Yet she still insists law enforcement and his written O'Toole still assists law enforcement and has written a book titled Dangerous Instincts. She says the Sandy Hook shootings are worse than any case she has dealt with before. She says, I have not seen a case with callousness of this extreme. She said of Lanza's shooting rampage, it's off the charts. Multiple reports have painted Lanza, who lived alone with his divorced mother. Now, if he lived with his mother, he's not living alone. I love how they try to paint this. You know, he was a loner. He lived alone. No, he lived with his mother. But anyway, this is how this journalist, right? It's how they write the story. Multiple reports have painted Lanza, who lived alone with his divorced mother. I'm sorry. I guess what? If his mother were married, he wouldn't be. Oh, he lived alone with his parents. Is that? Or he lived alone with his mother and her husband. That's not living alone. I'm sorry. I can't let that go. It's wrong. But a lot of people will just say, they'll read that and say, he was a loner. There was something wrong with him. He didn't live alone. As being socially awkward, but very intelligent. Yeah, aren't they all intelligent? Well, we're all intelligent. That's the problem. We're not stupid. Well, let me put it this way. There are people that just don't use their brain, and there are people that do use their brain. So for the people who don't use their brain, those who do use their brain seem to be very intelligent, especially when it came to computers. Now, O'Toole said that the way Lanza carried out his killing suggested a high measure of control, including damaging the computers. His computers were very important to him. They were a window to his world, O'Toole told Yahoo News. He didn't want them to survive. He knew that they would give insight into him, and he didn't want people to have that. Have insight. What? So we know that he wasn't a nut job? I don't know. Who knows what was in those things? But the whole point, we get this notion from, especially, from the left that, hey, he just snapped, and if he didn't have access to these guns, he wouldn't have done it. No. This kid planned this. He planned it to the T. Wouldn't be surprised that if they didn't pull off if they're able to pull off information off his damaged hard drives, wouldn't be surprised if they found a timetable and schedule on his computer. Yes. 9:02, shoot mother in the face. 9:05, leave for the school. 9:15, arrive at school. 9:38, begin shooting in office. 9:42, proceed down hallway towards first classroom. I would not be surprised if we find stuff like that. Because when people do stuff like this, they become very methodical. Like the Columbine shooting. Those kids just didn't snap one day. They planned the whole thing. They planned it to a T. They probably went over, ran a movie in their minds over and over and over again, how it was going to go down, how it was going to look, how they were going to feel, what they were going to see, how people were viewing them while they were doing it. They probably ran all of those people who plan this kind of stuff. They probably had a movie about the whole thing in their mind, and they ran it over and over and over again. Look, this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to be able to stop unless you have somebody who physically intervenes, and in this case, somebody else with a gun. There's just no getting over it. The kid wasn't a nut job. I don't care what you say. He wasn't crazy. This whole, they'll probably bring, he was probably bullied as a kid. They're going to come out with all kinds of things. But here's another one. Psychological or psych meds linked to 90% of school shootings. Hey, parents, all you people who are out there who are medicating your kids because you think they're ADHD or WHD, whatever that stupid thing is, they're a child. You're supposed to teach them how to be in control of themselves. Giving them a drug takes you off the hook from having to teach them. So when the kid, he doesn't decide to take his meds when he's 18. Hey, I'm not taking this stuff anymore. Well, he doesn't know how to cope because he's never learned. Well, yeah, he's going to go off the deep end, what we would call the deep end, because he hasn't learned how to control himself because you gave him drugs to do it all his life. Well, here's an expert psychiatric. An expert says psychiatric drugs likely cause of Lanza's extreme violence. Maybe he stopped taking him. And because he was taking him, they didn't bother teaching him how to deal with whatever was going on in his head. Because, look, we all got things that go on in our heads. Most of us don't take drugs for it. We have learned how to deal. We've learned how to cope. We've learned how to control ourselves. You give a drug to somebody, that takes all that responsibility away from them. And it takes it away from you in having to teach them. Parent, I don't have time to teach my kid how to control himself. I'll just give him a drug. That's what a lot of parents do because they don't want to be bothered. They don't want an ADH or RDH or WHD kid. They don't want, hey, my kid's getting that. No, I don't want that. We'll just give him a drug. They don't want to take the time to, And the other dangerous thing is, now we're talking about autism. Since I first started hearing those commercials, 1 in 250, now we're down in 1 in 88 kid is diagnosed with autism. How many of them are on drugs? That's the first question that comes to mind. How many of them are on drugs? From the moment the news emerged, this is a piece by Jerome Corsi, C-O-R-S-I. From the moment the news emerged Friday that a young man had carried out a horrific massacre of elementary school children, politicians from local city halls to the White House have been restoking the age-old push for more gun control. Gun control would not have stopped this, by the way. While guns have been a common denominator in mass slayings at schools by teens, there's another familiar element. Let me repeat. Gun control would have done nothing to stop this. Understand that. Even if we went the way of Britain and just took away everybody's handgun, it wouldn't have stopped this. Because I guarantee if somebody's going to plan something to the way that this kid planned and the way the Columbine people planned and the way so many others have planned, they would have just did a Timothy McVeigh and probably would have just blown up the building. Remember that? He didn't use a gun, did he? McVeigh didn't use a gun, but he killed more people than all these gun massacres in the last few years combined. And he killed men, women, and children. No amount of gun control would have stopped Tim McVeigh. Some 90% of school shootings over more than a decade have been linked to a widely prescribed type of antidepressant called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, according to British psychiatrist Dr. David Healy, a founder of RISK.org, an independent website for researching and reporting on prescription drugs. So now we're finding out that, that we're an over-medicated society here in the U.S. Some people say we got too many guns. Well, we got too many pills. You got a pill for everything. Hell, we even take pills to lose weight nowadays, so you don't even have to work out, change your diet, just take a pill. We got a pill for everything. Hey, feeling bad, feeling depressed, take a pill. Feeling too happy, feeling manic, take a pill. Feeling tired, take a pill. Can't sleep, take a pill. Can't wake up, take a pill. Can't eat, take a pill. Eat too much, take a pill. Have a hangover, take a pill. Have a headache, take a pill. Have a little ache in your back, take a pill. Stub your toe, take a pill. Losing your balance, take a pill. Getting old, take a pill. We're an over-medicated society that takes a pill for everything. So is it any wonder that some of this stuff is starting to come out? We're ingesting too many chemicals, even legal ones. Frankly, folks, I'm not one who wants to legalize certain hardcore drugs like heroin. But frankly, some of these legal prescription drugs that we can easily get, they do far more damage than some of the illegal stuff that we got. And yet we prescribe it and prescribe it and prescribe it and prescribe it. And then when somebody does snap, we act all surprised. Oh my! Or if they stop taking their meds and they don't know how to cope with, without being medicated, then we sit back and say, oh my! And we start wringing our hands. Oh, how could we have prevented this? Oh, it's because everybody wants to cut mental health funding. No. Oh, it's because he was bullied. No. It's because his mother was so doting on him. No. It's because his parents neglected him or beat him or abused him. No. It's because his psychiatrist gave him the wrong drugs. Possibly. The point of blame goes on the person who commits the act. And there is some blame to be laid on those that supposedly love and care about them, because they obviously don't teach people or teach their kids how to cope without being drugged. But folks, we really are. We're a society that is over-medicated, probably to a point, I guess you could say, over-loved. Maybe not by our own relatives, but definitely by the supposedly by the government. We do a lot of, they like to say in Texas they do things big. Sure, but we in the United States, we like to do things by the standard of overindulgence. I mean, everything's got to be taken to the extreme now. Extreme is no longer extreme. Extreme is normal, because the old normal is too bland. And let me tell you something. These types of incidents, whether we have gun control up the wazoo or no gun control, I'm telling you, they're only going to continue, and they're only going to get worse. Why? Because they have to get more extreme. Because we get numb to anything that's not extreme. Normal or usual or small is passé. That's dull, boring. Everything's got to be extreme. This kid went extreme, and he killed 26 innocent people. 20 of them haven't even seen a full decade of life yet. And then you want to tell me that you want to take care of me? Yeah, like you took care of this kid.